I met a gypsy.
We're supposed to be talking about Supercross, talking about James Stewart now.
Hey, James Stewart is Supercross as far as I'm concerned. So,
do you think he's the GOAT?
I think he is the gnarliest rider of all time.
Yeah.
Like, I just don't think...
On the Supercross track.
Yeah. Because motocross, man, like, Ricky was a fucking savage.
Yeah.
But the thing that makes that argument for me, right, is when you hear, like, on the podcast with Chad and Ricky, where they were just like, man, he made you do shit you didn't want to do. Like, literally, I just don't think anyone has been consistently, like, asking more of everybody. Like, he's like, oh, cool, this is what everyone else is doing, fuck you guys. Literally. This is what I'm doing. And you can I'm either going to win by a minute or crash. And if you want to beat me, then you better come along for the ride.
Well, I think that James took that approach where he just kind of took pieces from everyone's puzzles, right? And just put the best pieces together and used it for his own craft. And, you know, whether it's hitting quads in, you know, every straight, being in the air twice in one straight is insane, right? Like, just like you normally see people just go on and off, triple, on and off, triple, or whatever, or sometimes even quads.
Yeah.
But you'll see James go down a straight and be in the air twice. Yeah. Like where people take 3 or 4 airs, you know?
Yeah, I feel like in terms of the GOAT thing, like, man, I just don't know that anyone pushed Supercross to the level that he did.
No one. Yeah, definitely.
And you got to think about, so we found this old AC interview from 2014 that I did, and you got to think about what he did, like James's legacy for Supercross, right? So you think about the 4-minute mile.
Yeah.
So like no one had did it forever. It was this impossible thing, and then first guy goes and does it, and then it opens the floodgates for everybody else, and then that 4-minute mile just became like a standard issue thing, right?
Yeah.
I seriously think that that's what James did for Supercross, because you got so like before James, the level of what's possible, like it's like he shifted the baseline for reality in super. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like he took it that it was here. The guys would grow up and they'd look up to like Jeremy McGrath and Ricky Carmichael and that era, David Villiman, Kevin Windham, and it's like, so that's what was possible on a Supercross track. And so the next generation of kids grow up like Chad grew up looking at Ricky and Jeremy, so then they can sort of like, you get like this leapfrog effect, and it's the same as what you'd experience now in BMX. Like kids now at 8 can see a cash roll or a triple flip or a double front flip or all these crazy fucking combos, and they just spend their whole life knowing that's possible. You didn't spend your whole life knowing a cash roll was possible.
No way, no.
Or, you know what I mean? It's this thing where you're like almost fully developed, and then you're on the pinnacle of progression of the sport. But then there's 8-year-olds that are watching you do it.
Oh, definitely.
And they're going to spend the next... And by the time they're 12, they could probably do it, or 14. And it's like, we'd already be seeing that. So then you look at a guy like Adam Cincerello. So Adam Cincerello grows up looking at James. So his whole baseline of reality of what is possible on a Supercross track is James Stewart.
Literally,
No one's looking at anyone else in terms of like what is physically possible, how fast you can go through a set of whoops, how big you can jump. Like so in terms of like, is he the GOAT of that? Like probably, because I don't think anybody has shifted the whole spectrum of a complete discipline of the sport in the way that Stewart did.
No,
and
definitely.
Now you look at a guy like Jet and what he's doing, it's like, is he the guy that comes along and then shifts what's possible? Like, because it's just this constant leapfrog effect. And so I don't think anybody, like McGrath did it. McGrath like completely changed the spectrum in terms of what's possible. Ricky changed it for other reasons in terms of like the athleticism and the dedication and the work ethic. And then James just did his whole own deal of like, you can jump a fucking Supercross straight in 2 jumps. That's it. And you can hit whoops in 4th gear wide open. And then you hear Jet. You hear Jet like, oh, I hit him in 5th gear. So it's like this constantly moving forward. So I don't think anybody, or I guess you could make the argument about like Jeremy or Ricky doing what they did. But in terms of like, for me at least, like a visible shift in the spectrum of reality goes to James. We're excited to announce the launch of our new membership site, gypsytales.com, packed with exclusive content and perks that you won't find anywhere else. This is your chance to become a part of the Gypsy Gang. And as a special bonus, if you sign up to an annual membership, you'll be entered into the draw to win our custom-built TC125. Gypsy Gang.